Good afternoon, and thank you so much for hosting me on your Oxford Bookstore social media channels. Well, during these last 2 months, my lockdown at first looked like a dialogue with my plants and flowers, listening to the sound of the birds and watching the ballet of raptors above the dome of Humayun tomb every day. But beyond the horn of the trains of Nizamuddin East Railway Station, this unprecedented period offered me time for reading and thinking about how to work less but better. At first, it was a shock because Livre Paris was cancelled and all our Indian guest authors translated and published into French lost the opportunity to meet their readers. After the shock came the time for creative reaction. We posted Indian writers' literary billets on our social media. We interviewed French and Indian publishers for a lockdown series. We invited writers, translators, agents, booksellers to share their personal and professional experiments of the quarantine. Some of our Indian guests participate in Lyon and Marseille International Literature Festival by sharing their videos. So, yes, we try to keep in touch and create a community of solidarity between Indian and French professionals of the publishing industry. During this period, I read a lot. When I left France 2 years ago, I wrote some thick novels of more than 1,000 pages in my luggage. So I started reading the famous Dan Simon, The Terror. Well, it's not a French novel, but when you have time, it's really the right book at the right moment. While Franklin, the hero, and his crew are plagued by starvation and illness and forced to contend with mutiny and cannibalism, they are stalked across the bleak Arctic landscape by a monster. But my two favorite books are Nimat Sadat, The Carpet Lever, a debut novel by a young Afghan writer. It's gripping, powerful, a brutal story of love between two teenage boys and betrayal in the time of war in Afghanistan. It's brilliant. The second one is the winner of 2019 GCB Prize for Literature, Madhuri Vijay, The Far Field, which is also a debut novel. This is a story of one young urban woman who lives in Bangalore and searches for a lost figure from her childhood who lives in Kashmir. And she decides to meet him there. These two books offer to the French readers an open window on Afghanistan, Indian society, and politics, but also on class or religion prejudices in these countries that French readers don't know a lot. For me, it was really a discovery, and I suggest these two books to French publisher to translate it into French. And on the side of French literature, one of my favorite is Murène, Valentine Gobi. You know moray, a Mediterranean snake fish. The story takes place in the 50s. A 22-year-old young man is electrocuted and sentenced to death. But he was finally saved by the doctors after the amputation of his two arms. He must learn to live again. After months and months of rehabilitation, he discovers swimming. Yes, I said swimming. Swimming without arms, like a dolphin or a moray. It is a novel about resilience, about a drive for life and hope. It's just wonderful. I also like Jean Paul Dubois. Not all men live in the same way. It's not already translated in English, or maybe today it's already translated, I'm not sure. Which won the Prix Goncourt last year. The book tells the story of an ordinary caretaker who ends up in prison. It is a book on brotherhood and revolt against all form of injustice. Now, I'm waiting for the new releases in August and September. You know, this is our rentrée littéraire. And this literary season is the most important for French publishers, authors, and booksellers. I guess we will have less title because of the corona, but I'm sure new talents. Thank you so much.